Yeah, so I was given the opportunity to shoot photos of 50 Cent performing. Crazy experience. Trying to get into the venue to get a media pass, it was tough. And with the outlet that I was working for at the time, there wasn't really a lot of best communication. It was a lot more of just like pull up, that was it kind of communication. But through them, knowing the people that were running the show, I was able to get a media pass. And so I was able to have the opportunity to shoot the show. At first, I was a bit nervous because a lot of people were pretty high profile at the event. But I thought to myself that I was going to keep on going and just know my worth and know that the camera I have is worth it. And I was just going to do what I needed to do. And so I did. I took the time to shoot the show, shoot events, uh, pretty dope people, pretty dope performers, all of that. And go into the photo pit, etc. And I shot a lot of artists that were performing, pretty high profile upcoming artists. And then 50 Cent got to perform, as well as Sleepy Hollow and Chef G. And so I shot photos of them. And it was pretty dope. An NBA player was there, I shot photos of him too. There was a lot that I got to shoot for, and it was awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty tough considering the fact that, like, I had, my camera was low on battery, and I only had 2 batteries at the time. And there was like a separate area where there was like charging their battery, and then there was that my own camera that I had, and then it was like my camera bag was set somewhere else. But I still decided that I was gonna make the time to be able to try to shoot photos, charge my phone here and there, um, just keep doing my thing. And so, yeah, kept getting content, kept shooting people, all of that. All of a sudden, I realized that my camera got lost because the camera I had placed somewhere else when a photographer friend of mine asked if I asked my photographer friend who was also with me if I could take photos of me at the other side of the venue. And I realized that, I had left my camera there, and I tried to get to the other side, but the media people weren't really allowing anybody to move through until the people involved allowed me to go. And then I was able to get to their side, but I realized that my camera wasn't there when I put it down. And I realized that I had lost it. Definitely not the best experience, and definitely was something that made me pretty upset. Um, but thankfully, through me sharing about this issue on social media and people supporting me, I luckily was able to get a better camera. I got a camera from my high school teacher, and he offered me a new camera from one of the schools that I went to, the high school I went to, and I was able to have a new camera with 3 lenses, and everything worked out, and I was really happy about it, and I was really thankful that my high school teacher looked out for me.
How'd you get into photography?
So, long story, but when I was 19 years old in 2022, I went into this runway show. I was a model for it by chance because of the connection that I made at an internship. And I got to be a model for it, which I thought was really cool. And it made me want to be a model. But that ended up not really working out because of how very superficial the modeling industry is. And so I had a very short-lived career of about 5 months doing it. I was doing photo shoots, digitals, casting calls, all that shit. But it wasn't until I just had this random thought that I always noticed photographers who always shot stuff, and I kind of had an idea that photographers are always kind of like behind the scenes, but they still kind of like have a stand, in the fashion industry. It made me want to type be a photographer so that I could be more involved in the modeling industry, you know. So just made me want to do that. I remember I was asking a couple of friends like, "Hey, I'm interested in getting some cameras. and a friend of mine recommended me a Canon 60D, and I bought that on eBay with my dad, and it was like $400, and type I just remember like being on a cruise that we were low key like buying a camera for a cruise basically. And so I remember like being on the cruise. I had this camera, and because I had the camera, everybody wanted like photos, and it was something I never really thought was like a big deal until then. And then honestly, it was just more for casual use. Like I was honestly just more using it whether we went on vacations or when I went out on the street sometimes. It was mostly for when I was taking photos of like track meets and stuff of my brother Timothy. Whenever he had track meets out in like Staten Island, Long Island, and it was cool. It was pretty fun, but it wasn't really anything serious until I started getting into to the underground music scene, and I started listening to people like Xavier So Based and Net Spend and Osama Sun. All those people around that time, around the summer of 2023, and it made me want to do music around that time. And I thought, you know what, maybe I could do photography to get into that scene. And honestly, it became a journey since then when I went to my first show, which was a Tubman Underground show. I just kept on popping out since. And now I've kind of, I'd say, built a little bit of a platform, I'd say, not too big, but people know me for doing photography. I do sports photography at my college. You know, other things that I'm looking forward to doing.
What was your most memorable shoot?
A lot of shoots, honestly. I'd say the most memorable was shooting Restless Fest for sure. I remember like grinding my way trying to get into that venue. Because I'm not really necessarily like too established as a person within the scene. I still have to like work hard in terms of like trying to get into shows and trying to like prove myself. And I remember like meeting up with the event host for Restless Fest a week before the show was going on, or 2 weeks before the show was going on, and I was asking him about media, and he told me that the media list was full. That if I were to show up early and like pay a ticket, then I'll be able to get in for the show for general admission. So I remember the day of the show, I showed up early. I had to like get like an earmuff, because like these shows are loud, and so you have to like protect yourself within the hearing. And I remember got to the show early. I had to literally like pay like $40 like on the way because I didn't get to do it prior, but I had to pay $40. I paid him on Cash App or something, and then by chance I remember like one of the other hosts, I asked him if I could get VIP, and he told me that he would give me VIP access. And he put the VIP band on, and I went ham, going backstage, going on stage, like all this type of stuff, shooting all these artists. Joey and Laker Brady and like Shed Theory, Slime Cito, RXK Nephew, like all these like popular names. That was a crazy experience. Definitely like probably one of the best shows I shot. And I went to like a rocket show hosted by Versetti Mindset, like literally the same night after. I had a vehicle like pick me up and everything. So yeah, there was that. Another shoot that I thought was pretty cool was shooting with this girl that's like a girlfriend of a photographer that I know. I remember doing a shoot with her back in the summer. That was pretty dope. 50 Cent for sure, which I have a story coming up about that. That's pretty crazy, but being able to shoot 50 Cent was pretty crazy and awesome. I don't even know, like definitely like memorable for sure doing that. Che for sure, because the shots that I got from that show were crazy considering I was in the crowd and had to pay $20 for it. But I'm glad I kind of went to the show because the shots I got of that show were crazy. And just I don't even know, just a lot of shit. I feel like a lot of shit I've shot was like memorable. I feel like everything I've done has kind of been a contribution to my photography career and everything that I've been able to accomplish, and I'm always gonna be grateful for it. So yeah,
How does your family support you?
it's yin and yang. Obviously, they like the fact that I picked up something that I'm consistent with, but I feel like with the fact that I go outside a lot, especially for shows, it's a bit risky for them in terms of just how safe I could be around these shows and stuff. Um, other things like how I want to get certain cameras and things like that. They obviously don't want me to kind of make the wrong financial decisions. It's a lot that they're kind of on edge about. I think they overall do appreciate the fact that I have something that I like to do and that I found something that I'm consistent with. And I think that they generally do support me in some ways, but there's things that they're concerned about in others. So I guess it's like yin and yang, but I think that it's overall kind of at the end of the day, it's like whether or not they might be concerned about it, or if they're supportive. At the end of the day, I know that I'm doing something that I like to do, with caution, of course, because whether like this, when you're going out to shows, it could be a bit of a risk. But I think that's overall something that I like to do, and I think that I know that eventually, with what I do, um, it's gonna pay off, and there's gonna be support, and I feel like it'll overall work out in the end. So I know that my mom and dad definitely are happy that I found something I like. It's just a bit of concerns about if I'm doing things right or correct or whatever. But everything works out.
What are your goals with photography?
To be the best photographer that I can, to take the best shots that I can, to have the best opportunities, to just be someone with a good hospitality, to be someone that people could go to if they want to do a photo shoot, or if they want good photos of a show, concert, sports event, whatever the case may be. I'm that guy. I hope to expand my photography skills and also just expand my skills overall. I am learning a bit of videography right now and editing and a bunch of other stuff that I've experimented with over the years, such as graphic design, VFX, animation, websites. Just a lot of things for me to kind of be like an all around package for people who do want to work with me. And I just also want to be someone that's a platform in the music industry, a platform in the sports industry, and any other industry that I happen to do full coverage of. I want to be someone that can offer value and be a platform for all these industries and just kind of leave an impact, leave a mark, if not just photography, but just the content creation space and everything that I do. I want to be able to offer something to the world and just be someone that, is doing what they love, and to enjoy what I love doing. And whether or not things work out or not, I have college and work and other things that are keeping me afloat and relationships I'm connecting with and networking and all that. So, I know I'll be all right at the end of the day. I know that I'll stand on my own two toes, but I just hope that, whatever I do, I get to do what I love and I get to, really make photography, but also just creativity is something that I really expand on and really make an impact on in the scene. And those are my goals for photography and everything else.
What's your equipment looking like?
My equipment is a lot right now, and I'm hoping to get a lot more. But we'll show off the first half. This is my Canon EOS Rebel T5. I've had this for probably about, I'd say probably about October, November, like 5 months, almost 6 months. My high school teacher gave this to me after the 60D that I had prior. This was the 60D I had prior, that I got back in 2023 after the modeling shoot. And these were photos that I shot on it. Some photos that I shot on it at the time. These are some photos of my nephew at the time when he was born. God bless him. On my 60D at the time. There's also some photos of me that my dad took on my 60D. Pretty good camera. It comes with a 18 to 55mm kit lens. And then I also have a prime lens, or a fixed lens, so it only stays in one. It's about 49, 50mm. This is a 50mm fixed lens. This goes up to about 1.8 aperture. So your photos will look really bright when you put it on the aperture, which is really good for low light situations, such as concert photography that I do myself. And this is a 70 to 300mm telephoto lens. So it shoots pretty far, and it will shoot like a pretty good distance if you do enough. If you shoot pretty far away, it will shoot something at the sky, for example. You could catch a bird or a plane flying, or maybe even Superman when you're using this lens. The second camera that I have is a Samsung Digicam camera. This one I had for almost 10 years. Me and my brother would use this camera a lot, and maybe some other camera that my dad used to have. Back when we were trying to be in our YouTube era 10 years ago, our YouTuber era 10 years ago.
The video. I think it's been about like 2 weeks.
This was the camera that I used to take pictures and stuff. If I could show some photos that I took. Here's some photos that my brother took. Sometimes here and there, that's my mom. Sometimes you can shoot pretty like vertically and stuff like that. I've used this a lot for like when I used to vlog back in the day. But sometimes I'll take this out for when I'm at a concert. It kind of gives a little like 2000s look. That's my second camera. Now I'm going to show you my film cameras. These ones I just kind of recovered recently because I'm taking a photography film class. This is a film camera right here. So this is a Sears KXSP. I recently bought this at K&M. The thing about this is that you have to use a film canister which has film roll in it, and you have to input it in the back of the camera because it's an analog film camera, so it captures more film. There's a part where I have to like process my film in order to be able to see the photos and then print it. Currently I'm dealing with a tough situation trying to get it processed because it's my first time processing it in class, but I'll keep in touch with Miles to let you guys see the results of this camera. But this is it right here. And then the fourth camera I have is an Olympus point and shoot. The film roll is currently done on this camera, but this is a camera that my mom and dad have had for years, and we used to have some pretty like old childhood photos with this camera. And yeah, this is a camera that pretty much captured it all. And I recently reactivated it because I wanted to use a point and shoot film camera, something from back then. And so this is the camera that we have now. If you were to pull this out, it would pretty much like zoom out pretty much, and you also put a film roll in it in the back here as well. And obviously my phone, I'd say it takes pretty good photos. One photo that I took in December was this concert here. This is on my iPhone. Sometimes our iPhone can come pretty clutch for some photos, especially with the iPhone that I have, an iPhone 14. This video is like a good kind of like description of it. This is a photo or a video of a basketball game at my college, because I'm doing a little bit of videography. And yeah, with this and my iPhone and all that kind of stuff, these are all the cameras that I have currently that I use. This is one photography book. I look for inspiration. I look at this as inspiration sometimes for me to kind of keep going with being creative with my photography. I also learn about different photographers too. And the second book I got from my older brother is Street Level New York Photographers. Photographer is Sue Kwan, and it shows different black and white film photos that he's used to take. It shows like the culture of New York City from the 80s. And every time I look at this book, I honestly get a lot of inspiration to capture moments in New York City. Different neighborhoods such as like the Bronx, New York, Manhattan, etc., Brooklyn. And then my last is the photo prints I have. I decided to print out photos of concerts I've went to. This is based off of a portfolio that I have. This is my best photo right here. And this as well. And then we have some sports photography here. Volleyball. And yeah, those are my inspirations in my work.
Final message.
Believe in your work. Keep going. It's not going to be in an easy industry or an easy hobby to do, especially if you're trying to get into the levels of photography that I do, with music photography, commercial photography, fashion photography. Any industry overall, any creative industry is going to be hard. You're going to face a lot of, tough challenges. But at the same time, you're going to have fun with what you do. You're going to enjoy what you do. And you're going to at least, do something that you love. And I think that's the important thing, is just to do what you love. And do it with all your might. Don't let other people and people's negative beliefs stop you from doing what you love and stop you from wanting to achieve your dreams. And just know that things will work out. When you do go through rough seasons, it's not going to be easy. But just know that things will work out if you just keep on pushing. And the small wins will count. Every day when you're practicing something new, when you're putting in the time towards something, you will succeed and you will break out and people will see your worth. And if you just keep on going, you will get to that point. Only you can see your success. And if you keep on going, then nothing's going to really stop you. No challenge, no negative opinion will stop you from your work and you improving and you being better. And you being you. So do what you love and keep going and have fun.